Yeah. What's up, everyone? John, thanks for having or joining the podcast. This is the third one, so fairly new to this, and super excited to have you, man. Definitely new friendship. I feel that's been growing, and excited that you're on OneBook Pro now. So, really, just going to talk today about what you provide, how you got started, and what people how they can book you on OneBook for the services that you offer. So,
Yeah, dude.
John Borden, you're in here in St. Pete, but tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business.
Yeah, well, Ian, dude, it's been great to get to know you, man. Ian and I met back in March, I think. The 27th was my last day of 75 Hard, which is the night of bodywork night of Best Day, which I think is when I met you. So I met you on day 75 of my 75 Hard journey back in March.
Yeah, Best Day Fitness. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yep. And so Best Day is where I train clients out of. My business is a combination of mental and physical health focused business, but the title is Get Psyched Fitness. And so the whole point of what I do is I want people to not look at fitness as, a way of, jump starting themselves, as a way of, kind of igniting a spark. I want them to find a passion within themselves, a fire, and fucking get psyched, right?
Yeah, man.
I want it to be an overwhelming passion that you say, hey, there's a better version of myself that exists, and I want to help people pull that out of themselves every single step of the way, every single day, every single second. I want to impact people and help them make their lives better. So
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, that's a great summary of it all. So you only go to Best Day, or do you travel to people's locations as well?
Yeah, well, so I operate out of Best Day. We're able to do body scans there. It's a nice quiet space to train clients one-on-one. But I also do one-on-one personal training at clients' homes. So I've got a couple clients that I go to their house. Either they have home gym equipment, or I bring equipment with me. I've got a number of kettlebells, medicine balls, dumbbells, things like that. So load up the back of the car, make myself a little traveling assignment there.
Yeah.
But then I also do workouts in the park. So every Sunday, 9:30 at North Shore Park, right north of the pier. I set up, we have a good group of people that go out there, do a little meditation, do a little bit of focused work, and then really get after it with a nice high-intensity interval training workout. You were telling me right before we started the podcast about a time when you were in Greece.
Yeah.
And you had a workout that kicked your ass and you couldn't walk the next day.
That's right. Yeah.
It probably felt pretty awesome though, right?
Yeah, and just to fill everyone in, I'm wearing my Olympia shirt, but on my honeymoon, I did an abs class on the cruise, and I was in Olympia and I wanted to run the track, but I was hurting so bad from the workout that I couldn't do anything. I could barely walk. I could barely stand. But yeah, man, I mean, I've been trying to get back into that mode, and I appreciate the personal training aspect. I've done it at gyms, but I feel like there is such a relationship that people like you provide that can get people psyched about getting back into good health, and at least just, mentally training them on how to physically be better, right?
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, is that in anything in business and life, it's all relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want the people that you're working with to know that you care about them, that you genuinely care about them bringing out the best in themselves. And that's something that I really hope to give to any client that works with me, is that knowledge that, we're in this together. I'm in this to help you build a better life for yourself. And so that's really what I'm trying to get to with all my clients, is that we're in this together type mentality.
Well, I love what I think the best thing that OneBook can benefit, and where customers can benefit by hiring you on OneBook, is the one-on-ones, right? Mm-hmm. That's what the system is really built for. Eventually, we want to be able to help with retail spaces and get those bookings made as well. But the mobile aspect is really what we're trying to work in, is, obviously home services. But I'm really excited that you're on there, because that's a service that people don't think is a mobile service, right? Is someone can come to your house with a bunch of weights and get you going.
Yeah.
You just got to open the door.
And that's really the first step for so many people, is I talk to people all the time. They're like, oh, I want to get into running. I want to get into the gym. And, without trying to pitch myself as their savior to that, I say, well, it all just takes that first step, right?
Mhm.
You're going to put on your shoes. You're going to walk out the door. You're going to put the key in the car. You're going to drive to the gym. You're going to go in the gym. And then once you're there, it's just a matter of being present with yourself and having the presence of mind to get that workout in. I come to your place and I take that middleman right out of the gate for you. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a huge difference between needing
It's a
to
little more
actually get
motivation
your
when
ass to
John's
the
knock
gym.
on your door.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Have you read the book Living with a Seal?
No.
No? Do you know who David Goggins is?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so David Goggins is a crazy-ass motherfucker.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
a Navy SEAL. He's a maniac when it comes to fitness and working out and mentality and everything like that. But there's this guy, Jesse Itzler, who you may or may not be familiar with.
I know exactly. So that's the Spanx
Yes.
founder's husband, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I actually know what book I think I've bought the book. I
Mhm.
just haven't had a chance to open it up yet.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal read. It's super entertaining. Jesse's a hilarious dude, especially, I mean, I listen on audiobook for, probably 50% of the reading that I do. I 75% of the reading I do is audiobook,
Yeah.
So listening to that on audiobook.
Does he read it out loud too?
Mm-hmm.
I love those. Those are the only audiobooks I'll listen to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm recording my audiobook right now too. And it's a doozy, and it's like one of those really weird things to like listen to yourself recording.
Oh, for sure. It's the worst.
But yeah, I mean, you know now. But yeah, man. So like with that, this SEAL, right? This absolute maniac of a human being just shows up at Jesse's doorstep and says, "All right, motherfucker, you're mine for the next 30 days."
Mm-hmm.
And I have a little bit more gentle approach.
For sure.
Same type of mentality, right? Is that I just want people to know that when I'm there to help them. I'm there to help drive excellence out of them. So that's really what I want to do is I want to help people find that inner strength that they don't know that they've been pushing away for years and years and years.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's going to be this is why I love what we're doing at OneBook is that's the direction we're heading in, right? It's going to be, everyone stays at home, especially since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can have someone come provide a service at your home, how much more convenient is that, right?
Seriously, man.
Anything from, pet grooming, to working on your car, right? There's like mobile oil changers these days, but I feel like that's the direction we're heading in, and that's what we really want to superpower. I did have a question about kind of how you came to St. Pete in your community, and how long have you had the business set up in St. Pete?
Really just about 6 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I've been health and fitness focused my whole life. It was something that really got instilled as a passion from the time I was in middle school. But I never really saw it as a career. It was just something that I did with my free time throughout all my 20s and everything like that. I was, really big into powerlifting, but health and fitness as a whole was more of, a concept than a practice for myself. I was, doing sales work for a number of different companies. Started with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and bounced around a few times. Moved down to Tampa actually in 2022 with a work from home sales job. And I had that up until the start of 2024. Began actually a different sales job that was in person just because I wanted to get out with the local community. I wanted to interact with people on a first face-to-face basis and, have that human interaction. Because it was 2 years of doing work from home, staying inside and not having that human connection. And I just really wanted to have that. So I got a job that was outside sales here in the Tampa area. It sucked. I was working with personal injury attorneys. Sorry if anyone's a personal injury attorney, but it's kind of
I'm sure they know.
buttoned up kind of space that it just wasn't my fit. You know? So I had a come to God moment, literally, where I said, look at my talents, look at what I'm able to provide to the world, look at who I am just naturally, right? I'm just naturally a person that sees strength in other people and tries to bring it up, whether that was me as a kid with kids that are getting bullied and, wanting to be kind of like a big brother figure and a protector to those type of kids, or just seeing people who are struggling with something and always trying to help build them up. It's just the type of person that I am. And so I looked at myself and said, okay, I have this personality that wants to help other people. I have the gifts that I've cultivated through years and years and years and years of hard work and dedication in the gym and on physical fitness. let me share this with people. And so I got my personal training certification, and it's been, an amazing journey since then of building community, building confidence in the people that I work with, that they see the type of life that I'm building for myself and want to be part of that and want to grow together in this amazing community that we're building.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what's so great about St. Pete is everybody loves local. Everybody wants to support small business, and that's why we're excited. We started. I was able to, on a whim, land in St. Pete and launch OneBook.
Yeah. So how did you end up in St. Pete?
I can't believe I haven't told you this, but I was traveling in my van. I have a camper van / garage / mini home, right? And I built that in 2020, and I was traveling out here.
Was that a pre-pandemic or like mid-pandemic?
Mid-pandemic. Okay. I bought a van. I moved into my mom's like right before COVID, so it was perfect that we were together for that. And then, being cooped up in the house, I just wanted to travel, and so I got a van in July of 2020 and started traveling the West Coast mainly, and then 2021 I traveled. I wanted to do the East Coast, and I visited some friends. Really had never traveled the East Coast at all. I've been to New York once, Florida to Orlando basically, and was driving through St. Pete because my cousin used to live here, and went to a beach bar. And
which one was it? PCI?
It was supposed to be PCI. Okay. That's what my cousin told me to go to, and it was closed. So then Jimmy B's, they were blasting music.
Yeah,
and at the time, I had zero idea what Florida was all about with the whole COVID situation, because Colorado was basically closed, right? And I walk into the bar, people are dancing, within 3 feet, let alone 6 feet of each other. And I was at the bar, and the guy just wasn't serving me. Just wouldn't even give me the time of day, look at my direction. But I was enjoying. I was like, I'm in Florida. I'm just talking to people, And then all of a sudden, my now wife yelled from across the bar, "Hey, do you need a drink?" And I was like, "Is that an angel?" Yes, and
save me.
yeah. So we ended up talking, and she was there with her friend, and I met her. First day here in St. Pete was supposed to be my only day in St. Pete.
Wow.
And I stayed, a week, kept traveling up the East Coast because I came down, did the loop, and then went up and ended up coming back and moving down here eventually. So
that's incredible, man.
Yeah, but I fell in love with her, fell in love with St. Pete, and it was just kind of a perfect situation for me.
I'm sure that trip had so many incredible moments, incredible memories, all different places.
Oh man, it was. We travel with each other, and we've got 5 dogs at home, so we load everybody up.
That's nuts.
Travel. Yeah, it is. I mean, they're manageable. They're the biggest one is 50 pounds. So it goes all the way down to 6.
Nice.
6 pounds.
Dog, rat, same
thing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man.
I had a similar story about how
I was going to ask
too. Yeah, because I was living up in Connecticut, and I was doing a job that was necessitated because of the pandemic. I was working in hospitals, cleaning, disinfecting, stuff like that. And then I'm like, all right, I gotta get the fuck out of the Northeast. Right? I lived in Jersey my whole life before moving to Connecticut for a year. And I'm like, all right, work from home, allow me to move. We'll figure it out after. So I got to work from home. I took 2 weeks off in between jobs. I flew down to Tampa, and like you were saying, Colorado, lockdown, Connecticut, lockdown, just anxiety all over the place. And it's one of those things that just locks you up. Like you feel it in your body, even like not interacting with anyone, just having the mask on disconnects you from people in such a crazy way. But I came down here, and it was by accident Gasparilla weekend.
Oh my God, Gasparilla is epic.
Dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was like, my friend picked me up on Friday. Saturday, I'm chilling on his couch. We're like, all right, what do we do? We're in Winter Haven, like 45 minutes outside of Tampa. We're like, might as well go to Tampa for the day. We'll see what's going on. Everything was like, Eventbrite, things to do this weekend. Gasparilla, Pirate Festival. We're like, all right, face painting and shit. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. It's intense, isn't it?
Hopped out of the Uber, and it was like, oh my God, what is this?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Dude, it was you couldn't ask for.
I've
a better
gone every year
surprise.
since I've been down here.
Yeah.
It's always different. I mean, it's always
Mhm.
the same, but in different areas, and it's just a big party. Man.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
so much fun.
It's incredible. It's just a day full of excited happiness for people, you know. Just
So when was that?
stupid debauchery. 2022.
Okay,
Yeah, I moved 2 months later.
nice. So then you got a sales job down here for a while, and then
Yeah, well, I was doing a work from home. I got the work from home,
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
I took 2 weeks off in between and then moved. So I had the job for like 2 months before I moved.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Let me jump into some of these questions. So right now, since you started 6 months, I guess what is the most common job or personal training that you do for clients?
Yeah. So a majority of my clients come to me initially for the classes that I host
Mhm.
in the park. They're fun. There's a community of people, and they kind of see my style. They see how I work with people. They they get comfortable with me, and then they'll bring me on to help them with specific goals. So whether that's getting faster, getting stronger, getting leaner, but whatever it is, it's mostly people who have some sense of what they're doing from a fitness standpoint, but understand the value of working with someone like me who's seriously honed my craft to be, I don't want to brag about myself or make me seem like I'm, fucking LeBron James or something, but I'm a pretty
Who is,
decent
except
athlete.
for LeBron
Yeah,
James.
exactly, right? And that's the key, is that there's always someone better and there's always some reason to keep pushing, so whatever that means for you, right? Whatever greatness is for you, and that's what I help to bring out of people, so those are the people that I generally end up working with. They're the ones who want to go from.
That's great. I'm going to join an event soon here.
Please
I
do.
definitely do.
I want to make sure that knee's feeling all right. I don't want to set
Well,
you
it's
back.
the Achilles. I mean, I have had ACL surgery before, but that one's fine. But I'll get back to sprinting here eventually soon, and we'll see who can beat me.
Raise his hand.
Let's see. What's the best personal training hack, physical hack that you have that can, I guess, easily make you feel better or just get you to that next level, other than, like you said earlier, just showing up?
Yeah. I'm gonna go kind of off the cuff here and say it's not even like a physical thing. Not a physical, like a personal training thing, but understanding your breath is the biggest thing that I can tell to people, right? If you have 2 minutes in your day today to do something to better yourself, it's do this breathing exercise. In through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7, out for 8. Okay, so do that with me now. Calms down the nervous system, right?
For sure.
Yeah. I think that understanding your breath, understanding how to control your breath is the most beneficial thing that we can do for ourselves, for our physical and mental health. Because when it comes to, your mental health, like you just saw, it calms down your central nervous system. It allows you to process things more clearly, allows you to slow down. When it comes to your physical health, the breath is so big because throughout physical exercise, the thing that's going to help you do it longer, more efficiently, is understanding how you're breathing, right? And you kind of think of it like in through the nose, out through the nose. It's like first gear, right? As you ramp up, your body's going to need more oxygen, but it's a matter of trying to stay in nasal breathing for as long as you can, because the blood-brain pathway is so much shorter between the nose and the brain, and the mouth and the brain, because for the mouth, it has to go all the way through the lungs and then circulate into the brain. And there's that blood-brain barrier right there through the nose, so the oxygen immediately goes to your brain. So it keeps you engaged in activity longer. So if you can control your breath and you can be able to manage the amount of oxygen that you bring in, is going to help your physical fitness level in a major way. We were talking, you're from Colorado, Colorado Springs. I was just there for the first time, a month ago. And I tried to hike a 14er with no preparation, coming in from 0 elevation the day before and having never been to anything like that. And I felt like I was going to fucking die. So
it'll get you, man.
The oxygen is so important. So yeah, that's what I would say is the biggest thing that someone can can do right now on a daily basis to help
I
themselves.
completely agree. I'm definitely a offender of that when it comes to, I always try to tell myself, whether it's responding to a question or just before you jump into a meeting, right? If you can take a breath and just get yourself ready for that, set your intentions, it goes such a long way. But I love learning the science behind it too, because I didn't realize the path it has to take from our mouth to our brain. But I think that's something that I always try to do when I work out too, is right before I do a set, right? Really get that breath going. And, even if it ends up probably falling off down the road, you can train your breathing to help you perform better and have that longevity of your workouts, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's just maximizing that oxygen availability,
you don't want to be mouth breathing while you're running a marathon, right?
Yeah, if you can avoid it, yeah, exactly. The whole key, when you're running like a 5K, your heart rate's going to be in that like zone 5 type of cardio, right? You're going to be redlining at like 170 plus, whatever, right? It's what say whatever your 90% of your max is. If you're running a marathon, there are people that can do that for a long time, but those are the freak athletes that are running 2-hour marathons. A majority of us normal human beings are going to be around that like 140, 150 heart range, and you can maintain a steady in through the nose, out through the nose breath at that heart range, or at that heart rate level, So exactly, if you can control it and you can stay within that, you're not going to be mouth breathing, and that's going to make sure that you're staying as physically sound as you can for that whole 26 miles.
Yeah, that's a great. I love that, man. So let's get into some other questions. What is your number one pet peeve of clients? If you have one.
It's a little tough to answer. Like I said, I've really only been doing personal training professionally for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I would say that the biggest pet peeve I would have is no-shows, or people that tell me that they want to work out, and then when it comes to taking that first step, don't show up or don't communicate. I would say that that's really the biggest thing. I put a lot of myself into my interactions with people, and so like I said before, I want to be on this journey with people, and so when they just don't show up, don't take that first step, it's disappointing, because I know that there's so much potential that I can help them with that they're not giving me the opportunity to. So
yeah, I mean, and they're hurting themselves and you. It's a waste of your time and value. But yeah, that's a common one, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with OneBook. If I can plug it again,
there you go.
It's basically that our booking deposit process is really where we're different from any other platform. Is even $5 will go a long way, and even if they don't have the mentality to I'm letting down my service professional, not showing up and canceling on them, $5 is something that they'll lose if they don't if they don't show up. It's a deposit for the service, right? So so hopefully that can help you with your clients and reduce that amount of time that they cancel on you.
Most definitely, man. And it's not even like a monetary thing a lot of the time.
For sure.
It's a psychological thing. If you do have that one little deposit commitment, I'm sure it goes such a long way into getting people to make sure that they actually show up.
Yeah, absolutely. What is, in the personal training world, what's the hardest job you've ever had to do? I guess that's a hard way of phrasing, or difficult way of phrasing that, but what made you work the hardest? I guess what gave you the most issues, and how did you learn from that situation?
I'll talk about myself here more than I'll talk about a client. I was really struggling with a lot of things for a long time, alcohol, cocaine, stuff like that, right? And it really affected my physical and mental health in a way that I really wasn't even aware of how badly it was affecting me. And then I had an experience with psilocybin that my book's about. It kind of brought me out of that, right? And it showed me how I was living a life that wasn't that far off from what most people do, right? Like common culture, it's a lot in your 20s, going out on the weekends, partying, yada yada yada, and there's a lot of negativity there that our society has kind of like just come to accept as normal. And when I had the experience that I had that kind of showed me, oh, wait a second, this isn't how you're supposed to be living life, self-analyzing and bringing myself out of that was the biggest challenge that I faced. And like, how do I reform my life with this new vision of saying, okay, well, I want to live healthier. I want to encourage other people to live healthier. I want to spread this message of, strength that I've received and be able to impart that to others. And so that was really like the biggest challenge, is figuring out from this epiphanous moment of, oh my God, this is not the way I'm supposed to be living my life. I should be living my life better, to getting to the point, where I reached 6 months ago, where I realized that I was able to share my gifts with the world. So,
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing.
I've heard that so many times. I mean, that's why I love helping service professionals, is they help other people and that helps them, right? And I feel like that's such a big part of humanity, is how do we help our community? How do we help others? And then in turn help ourselves, because if you're, some people are just so selfish and they can thrive with that. But
it's tough, man.
But it does, if you can find a way to be of service to others, I mean, that alone, just having the mentality of switching, like, how can I help others? They're going to help you back somehow. Like, they don't necessarily owe you anything other than, the cost of the service.
Yeah.
But, it's just, that's what communities are built on, man.
Yeah.
That's how we thrived and evolved as humans, is basically how do we grow and help each other at the same time.
Yeah. I'm glad you recognize that, because it's such a big thing. Even in my previous life, I was always the type where I give with the knowledge that good is going to come back to me if I give. I would always be the first one to buy a round at the bar, right? Always. My friends would be like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, because I know it's going to come back to me. Maybe it hasn't come back to me from those people, or in the way, that maybe you're anticipating it would then. But having that same type of mindset in everything you do, I'm going to give what I'm able to give.
That's a great metaphor.
That's all you can do.
That's a great metaphor. Buying around at the bar in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
So I like where you took that question. I didn't know if that would be applicable, but because a lot of them are like home services, right? That question is directed towards. But this one might pertain is, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on the job? I know it's fairly new in 6 months, but anything that sticks out? That's something that just took you back.
Nothing really crazy. I mean, the craziest thing maybe is just me starting my Sunday workouts, and the first one doing it myself, bumping music, have signs out there like free workout, join me.
Yeah.
And it's literally just me working out by myself. So maybe that's the craziest thing.
Yeah, it is a little. People might look at you like, I'll join you, man.
I was having a great time.
No, I love that. I love that. That's a great answer.
But hey, dude, you gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have? That's pretty much all my questions, man, that I have lined up. But yes, we went over, how you got started. Just wanted to help people. Trying to see that was my list of questions, but I guess, do you have any questions for OneBook? Any ideas? Since I know you've only been on it for a few weeks now, but would love to hear your thoughts on, I guess, the onboarding process, and if you have any questions on how it can really benefit you and your business.
Yeah, well, I mean, the onboarding process was super simple. There's obviously the app's brand new, so getting everything together and a little bit of road bumps here and there, but you were awesome in helping me make sure that I was able to get signed up, get all my information on there. I'm really looking forward to more people starting to utilize the app and find me because I'm out there and I have this time and this energy to give to people who want to make their lives better. So really just looking forward to seeing the app continue to grow, our community here in St. Pete continue to grow, because the community that we have here is incredible.
Absolutely.
And OneBook, I see it as a way to just integrate the amazing community that we have, find people that want to become part of that community, and just bring all these people together to help grow and become, amazing people and live amazing lives together in this beautiful community that we have here in St. Pete.
Well, you nailed it right on the head, man. I mean, I feel like we have such a product-based culture still.
Mhm.
We buy things, we throw them away, we buy new things, and we really haven't had a tool that can help us get the things that we need done, right? When it comes to getting your light fixture fixed, or when your internet goes down, getting someone to come fix your internet.
Mhm.
And there's really not a convenient way for both sides, right? It's some can be convenient for the customer. Basically, the only option that I've seen is relevant today is still word of mouth and making phone calls. And it feels like we're such in a technology stage. Like, how has this not been built? But I love that you said that. I mean, just from talking to you, I feel like the best way that you can start getting more bookings would probably be at those events. Just mention you're on OneBook Pro, and your schedule's on there so they can book with you whenever you're available. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what you can get out of it and grow with us as we continue to build and get more service pros on there. Because the more that we can bring on, the more customers, everyone benefits, right? Everyone in the marketplace benefits. So
To the fucking moon, baby.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait to go to the moon.
We'll be living there soon.
Yeah. I guess my last question always is, what's your favorite local place to go hang out, whether it's a restaurant or just place to go and hang
Dude,
out?
well, the easiest answer to that is Grassroots.
Okay.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Grassroots, I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there one random Wednesday back in March. I ended up meeting this girl, Natty, who invited me to Holistic Industry Night that night. I went to Holistic Industry Night that night. I met Chris Tolasano on her best day. I met Chris. I went to the gym. I agreed to work at Best Day.
Yeah.
The next Wednesday is when I met you. So
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Grassroots and it wasn't for these little chance encounters that have continued to help me expand my social circle and connect me with more amazing people, then I wouldn't be here. So
I
I'm
love
really
our
grateful.
entrepreneur community out here. I mean, coming from Denver, I had a pretty decent one out there too, but St. Pete is just different, man. It's we may not have like a whole tech space like people expect in entrepreneurs, but everyone's grinding. Everybody's launching little small businesses, and Grassroots is the kava bar.
Correct.
Right
Yeah.
on Central.
It's like right around the corner.
Yeah. It's a cool spot. There's even like the upstairs. I just
Dude,
found
I
out
love the upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't even sit inside. I go upstairs. I sit outside on the outdoor patio, and in the morning you can sit on the right side because the sun's like over there.
Yeah.
Over there, and the shade blocks it. And in the afternoon, you switch over to the other side because the way that comes to the trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll spend like all day out there.
Well, awesome spot. Thank you for coming again, man. I'm excited to see what we can do with each other and grow on OneBook, but also just continue this friendship. And I'm going to come to your workouts here soon.
Can't wait.
All right, brother.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
again,
going
man.
to be walking like you were.
That's right. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.